It's time to play everyone's favorite Avalanche game show, Lehky or Lucky. Avs win over the LA Kings 4-2 in Game 3 to take a 3-0 series lead. The answer is both. This is a DNVR Avalanche show. The answer is always both. This was, on the underlyings, probably the worst game of the series from the Avs. They only mustered 23 shots on goal. Their possession numbers were meh, and they gave up double the amount of power plays they earned. They did, however, not lose the special teams battle. Not in a normal way, like a normal team would, but they didn't lose it. The first period was probably the worst of the bunch for the underlying mechanics, outshot by the Kings 12-7, and the Avs frankly didn't play very good for the most of the period. And yet they still won the period. We'll get into Lehky, but the first goal of the game is definitely lucky. This is ugly stuff at the top of the offensive zone for the Avs, but it's functional. It doesn't have to be pretty to keep your possession alive, to just get the puck in deep and make something happen. In there, you have Nick Wan doing great work, just making sure the Avs keep possession of the puck and ultimately getting it out to space. Landy, not usually the guy at the top of the zone for forwards to be doing this, and it shows. He just throws this puck generally towards the net. He misses by probably a foot or more. It bounces back off the ends boards, back towards Forsberg, and Forsberg actually kicks it into his own net. Incredible stuff. I am not one to look a gift horse in the mouth. It's cheap, but it is nice to see that third line get on the board. Still don't know if I love Landy on that third line. I think it looked a lot better with him in the top six, but at least they did a thing. And even if it took some luck, the Avs proved they can, in fact, score goals before the halfway mark of a hockey game. And hey, one not great period, one that you win 1-0, ain't so bad. And I think that's the story of a lot of this game. This was not a good game from the Avs in a lot of fashions, but they never trailed in the hockey game, and at the end of it, they won relatively easily. Maybe it was closer than you would like, maybe it took some good bounces, but they did in fact win. Now, I'm not a fool. I know if they play to that poor of a level as the playoffs get later on, they're going to lose. But the fact that they can win in round one playing that poorly, you take it. Also, play better, but you take it where you can get it. For the second period, LA comes out and they do push pretty well. You could feel a goal coming for the first 6 minutes of the period, and that's exactly what happens. Let me show you what might be the worst shift of Josh Manson's career. Nate just getting up into the neutral zone, makes a good pass to Josh Manson, who instead of using the space, holds up and looks for a pass and just makes a terrible one, right to the other team's stick. It bounces off, so the Avs are okay here, but under pressure, Kulak just tries to throw this thing out, and it goes right to an LA Kings player again. This happens so quickly, the Avs forwards aren't even able to recover, and it essentially creates a bit of a 3-on-2 for LA. You see the net drive on the backside from Oliver Moore. Manson engages pretty well. I actually think he defends this reasonably well. Unfortunately, it's just going to rattle off of sticks and skates and all sorts of stuff, and it's going to go off of Manson and in the net while he's actively high-sticking Oliver Moore. So, tough. So not only does Josh Manson essentially own goal, he also picks up a double minor on that play. Because the puck went in, it ends up negating the first of those two minors, so at least the Avs are only on a 2-minute penalty kill. And that would actually be the last shift of the game for Josh Manson, because earlier in this game in the first period, he took a tough check along the benches. It looked like he got hit by the dasher in his midsection rib area somewhere. Actually left the game for a little while, came back, had this horrible shift where he gets scored on, and then goes to the penalty box, and once he leaves the penalty box, now he's hurt again and doesn't finish the game. Ouch. There are obviously bigger implications if Josh Manson is going to miss some time. The fact that he at least tried to return makes me think it's hopefully not too serious, but the fact that he couldn't finish the game, maybe it is, I don't really know. But Manson is a significant part of this Avalanche defense. They need him for that physicality and some of the stuff he brings that no one else in their decor really does, although Brent Burns has been weirdly physical in these playoffs so far. If he misses a game or two, not that big of a deal, but if he's out significantly, that could cause problems with the Avs lineup. And while one defenseman was struggling, the Avs' best defenseman not so much. The last time Cale Makar beat a goalie in the playoffs was in the year 2024. This took too long. Once again, it does not have to be pretty if you outwork the other team. Lehky getting in behind the goal line here. A puck that gets rimmed all the way around gets sent back to him, and he doesn't do very well. He tries to throw this even in deeper, and that's directly to a Kings player. But On the second chance, with a bad clear from the Kings, Lehky's able to collect it and keep the play alive for the Avs. The initial hold gets him to the opposite side of the ice, up to Taves, across to Makar. All of this isn't super dangerous, but it is good possession after the initial mistake. Makar heads towards the middle of the ice and... yeah, Kale's back, baby. This is the type of stuff that used to strike fear into teams from Kale. You get two really good screens, Lehky continuing to work, and MacKinnon getting in on the action. Good for him. Kale finds the lane, finds the shot, recognizes the near side to the camera is open in the net with these screens. When he shoots it, Forsberg never sees it. Easy. That version of Cale Makar is the one that goes a really long way for the Avs. That's not a special shot when it comes to strength or actual danger of his ability to shoot the puck. What it is finding a shooting lane and having the accuracy to nail it. That ability has to be coupled with bodies in front. If a goalie sees that puck, he's making that save. It's really not that difficult. But with Cale Makar able to put it in a tough spot, and you get really two screens from the Avs top line there, that creates a dangerous play, and it pays off. I think it's worth noting that's the Avs top line out there too, with Cale scoring that goal. I know their top line hasn't scored a ton of goals, literally 0 between MacKinnon and Necas, but they are helping score goals. Each of them have an assist in this series, and doing work like that, getting in front from MacKinnon and Lehkonen, also helps the puck go in the back of the net. Yes, there's an expectation that the Avs' best players do need to produce more as these playoffs go on, no doubt. But I think we might be being just a little bit overcritical because they are helping create goals. And certainly there was no luck involved with this goal. That was just a well put together play by the Avalanche. That makes it 2-1 after the second period. Another tight third period on the docket for these two teams. And the third period starts off with the Avs' power play still being bad. There are reasons for it. There is context for it, but the Avs are now 0 for 9 on the power play in this series. You gotta do better than that. The Kings are one of the worst playoff teams in the last 20 years when you look at their regular season point totals. You might be able to get away with a bad power play against them. Anyone who's watched the Avs play the playoffs for the last handful of years knows you're going to need a better power play as this thing goes on. The Avs face another problem in the third, though, and that's lack of discipline. We'll get to it actually burning them because the first penalty the Avs take in the period actually helps them. I mean, not the penalty, but the Avs help themselves. In the world of Lehky or lucky, this is the both. This is actually a 5-forward power play for the LA Kings. You have Laferriere in front of the net, Byfield down in the corner, Kopitar over on the half wall. This is Adrian Kempe up high at the blue line, and then Panarin on this other half wall. So if you want a reason why you might run a defenseman on a power play, this is it. As they continue to work the puck around for LA, a puck back to Kempe gets flubbed by him, and Lehky collects it, and then the Avs are off to the races. Panarin doesn't really have that speed he might have used to have when he was a little bit younger. The Avs win this race clean for a 2-on-1. Lehky walking in, actually looking for the pass here to LOC. Kempe defends it reasonably well for a not defender. One problem, though, he kicks it into his own net. Tough series so far for Adrian Kempe, huh? And I know LOC doesn't get a point on this play, but give him a ton of credit. Him shrieking down that back post is what forces Kempe to play the pass. Yeah, it's a fortunate bounce off of him, but LOC playing that back post also gets Forsberg to read the pass across and open up the 5-hole. A lot of things had to go the Avs' way, but it's because they put themselves in the situation for those things to go their way. Lehky scores his second of the series and is now the leading scorer and leading point total guy on the Colorado Avalanche in the playoffs. Yeah, I'm sure we all predicted that. Look, if lucky is better than good, fine, get lucky. The Avs do a pretty good job of protecting the 3-1 lead until, with less than 5 minutes to go, Jack Drury takes a penalty. This one's a clear penalty. It's dumb. It's something the Avs have done in all 3 games now. They need to stop doing this. This is not a complicated one. You don't have to restructure a power play or refit a system. Just stop taking dumb penalties. It's that easy. And as if to cosmically balance things, Adrian Kempe finally gets on the board. Artemi Panarin's about to make a great play on the power play. That's the only thing that you can say has consistently worked for LA on this one. I do think this puck comes up high, and Val Nichushkin kind of gets caught in the middle. Brent Burns is taking his man net front, but the backdoor guy is completely uncovered in Kempe, where Val is getting stuck, as I clear this off here, in between two guys. You're down a man on the power play normally. This is a 6-on-4 situation with the empty net. Val just has a little bit too much to cover here. He gives the gap to the back door. Panarin threads the needle. It's perfect stuff, and Kempe with a really nice finish, too. Yeah, man, Artemi Panarin's going to keep making sick plays on power plays if you keep giving them to them. This is not news. And I do think you need to be fair to the Avs a little bit. You want to clean up those messy bits. But that's why you score 3. Insurance goals, it turns out, are in fact important. That would be enough. The Kings never really get all that close to making it dangerous once getting back within 1. A couple of minutes later, it's Brock Nelson who makes a nice play to get the empty netter. I think it's unfair to say Colorado has coasted through this series. They've had to play hard. They've had to grind out their wins. They've had to do a lot of the little details, and it often takes a lot of time for them to get rewarded. But I also think they haven't really played anything all that close to their A game yet. Winning with B, B-, maybe even C+ efforts is a sign of a really good hockey team. You need to bring that floor up a notch, I think, as you continue to move into these playoffs, but you know you're good. You just have to get a little bit better. The Avs now have an opportunity to sweep, and this sweep would mean Anze Kopitar going out on home ice, so maybe the LA Kings want to stay in the playoffs, but I'm sure the fans want to send their boy off, so give them what they want. That is the end of this game video review. Thank you for watching. I am Rudo, and my brooms are ready. I just hope I actually get to use them.